It's really hot in here and I'm dying, so enjoy that. Hello and welcome to my channel, The Danish Readaholic. My name is Silka and today I will be going through my July wrap-up and I have some thoughts. Alright, so I think before I will talk about any of the books, I'm just going to go through the stats as I normally do. So in July I managed to read 6 books and that equaled out to 2,521 pages, which I like. I said in the beginning of the year that I would like every month to be around the 2000s so that it would average out by the end of the year to 2000. It's not going to happen this year, but it will be a goal that I have for next year then, because now I know that I can actually do it, and I think I found a method that works for me. All 6 authors were new to me, so boring chart, I'm sorry. I'm trying to be more diverse. Speaking about diversity, when it comes to the star rating, as you can see, pretty mixed. I had my first 1-star of the year. We'll get into it. Then I had 1 2-star, 1 3-star, 2 4-star, and 1 5-star. So overall, fairly good. Then we have the representation. I have 1 with LGBTQ+ rep. I have 2 with multiple and 3 with no representation whatsoever. Then we have author nationality. I have 4 from the US, I have 1 from the UK, and I have 1 from India. As for genre, I have 4 fantasy, I have 1 mystery, and I have 1 contemporary. Who is she? And for the type of book, I have 3 that were part of a series and 3 standalones. The intended audience, I have 4 YA, 1 new adult, and 1 adult. As for the format, I have 5 audiobooks and only 1 physical. With the sources, I have 2 from my own TBR and 4 that were gifted. And finally, we have the release, and all 6 books were released before 2022. So that was the stats. Let's go through the books. This time I've actually put them in order, so I'm going to talk about the worst books first, and then we'll move our way up to my 5-star. Without further ado, let's give a round of applause for my first 1-star this year. We have The Great Year by Kim Liggett. It's supposed to be, or I've heard it pitched, as a feminist version of Lord of Flies. Now, I haven't read Lord of Flies, and that is not my issue with it. It's the word feminist. I don't see it. I really don't. Because when somebody pitched a book to me as being feminist, it kind of gives me an opinion, like gives me an idea that there is some kind of oppression going on, and that the women especially, and also the men eventually, will fight to right the wrongs. And I don't feel like that is what happens in this. So in The Great Year, we follow, I've forgotten her name, Tierney. We follow Tierney, who lives in this village, and every year all of the girls has to go to this remote camp to kind of accept their magic and then push it away, like give it up. Because apparently women with magic would be too dangerous, and you know, I agree with that part. And then they have to be purified, and then after a year they come home. But basically everything in this camp, like, you have to fight for your food, and none of these women are trained to do any of that sort of thing. And you have to just live off of the bare minimum that they're giving you. It doesn't make sense. Like, why torture them just because they have to accept the magic? Like, that is not gonna help it. Another part about the magic thing that bothered me was no one really asked any questions about it. So there was this one girl, and she was a pain in my ass from the beginning. She was supposed to be, so I mean, fair enough, but I can't. She's so annoying. She starts out by saying that, oh, I can already feel my magic. I can control people with my mind. And I mean, fair enough, that seems like a cool thing to be able to do, but nobody is like, can you prove it though? And then she proves it so that every time something happens, like there's this one girl, I don't think it's a spoiler because she is not really important, but she dies in the beginning, like on the way to this place. She dies. She drowns herself. She throws herself off the boat and drowned. And then this bitch, she's like, oh, I made her do it. And I was like, Okay, one, if you did, why the fuck would you brag about killing someone? That makes no sense. And two, prove it. Like, it's too easy to, after something has happened, come up and be like, oh, I made that happen. And nobody asked any questions about it. All they needed to do to kind of debunk this thing was go up to her, like one person go up to her and just say, make me do something. Anything. Make me do something. Something that we're not in doubt is your doing. Make me dance. Make me run a fucking mile. Anything. And then the whole thing would be debunked. Like, they would so easily prove her wrong. Another thing was that another one of them was like, oh, I can control the sun because she made the sun set like when the sun was actually supposed to set. Like, it was so stupid. I was just so pissed because nobody was asking any questions, no, except for the main character, but she asked the questions in her head. She never asked for proof for any of it. But the main character was also annoying, and I don't remember why I thought so. And then we have the ending. I'm not gonna get into it too much because spoilers, but the ending is supposed to be this feminist thing. But when you think about it, the entire situation ends out the way it does because a man steps in and vouches for a character. I don't see how it can be feminist when the entire thing in the end is saved by a man. I was just like, it is so not what it's supposed to be, and I was just angry, and I still am. And you probably noticed, given my little rant about how awful I think this book is, and I am not sorry for saying that I think it is awful. I do think it is awful, and I will definitely be getting rid of this. Then we have my 2-star, which is Star Daughter by Sweta Thakra. I read this at the beginning of the month, and I am being completely honest when I'm saying that I don't remember a damn thing. We have a lot of names that I couldn't pronounce, but we have Sheetal, who is our main character. It's based on, I think, Indian mythology, without being completely certain. But we follow Sheetal, and she is half star. She accidentally hurts her dad, and then the only person that can help her is her star mother, because she is full star and Sheetal is only half star, so she can't really do anything. So she goes to the star realm and then is basically tricked into this competition, and then the ending was confusing. First of all, I didn't like the main character. I don't like Sheetal. She was annoying as fuck. Like, half of the time she just went along with what people told her, and the other half of the time she was like, why do I have to do this? Why do I have to do this? And the thing that annoyed me, because, I mean, fair enough, but the times where she should have been going along with things were the times where she asked questions, and the times where she should have asked questions were the times where she just went along with it. And I was just like, why are you being annoying? I also didn't like the love interest and the entire plot around that. I wish there hadn't been one because I felt like the story in itself without the love interest could have been more interesting, or if the love interest were just a friend, something along those lines, that would have been way better. There were a lot of characters in this, a lot of names I cannot pronounce, and I was confused at times whether it was the grandfather or the grandmother speaking, but if you've read it, you'll probably know what I'm talking about. The ending had me so confused. I still can't really tell you what went on in the ending. It was better than Glacier, definitely. I don't have a burning hate for this. I just can't remember anything, and I would not reread it. And I think I might ask my friend, despite me not liking it, but she's not as critical with books that I am, or at least I've grown to be a little bit more critical. I guess that's because of me reading more and being more a part of this community, so I feel like I'm getting more critical when it comes to books. But she's not, so she might actually really enjoy this, so I might ask her if she wants it. My 3-star of the month, which is Furyborn. I buddy read this with Jem, and I had such a fun time, first of all, reading it, but that wasn't the most fun. The fun part was discussing it with Jem afterwards, because everything I liked about the book was her least favorite things about the book. So we decided that we're gonna read the rest of the series together. This is a little bit of a different book, and I understand why people are kind of torn whether they like it or not. I was too, to be honest. But we follow these two queens, but in two different timelines. So we follow Riel, who is the first timeline, I guess, and then we follow Eliana. So first we follow Riel, who is the best friend of the crown prince, and then 1,000 years later we follow a bounty hunter named Eliana Ferracora. I have a hard time summarizing this because so much happens, and that was also one of my issues with the book. So I'm actually not going to do that, but you can go, I will link it down below, you can go check it out if you have an interest in it. I will recommend, I will also say that I felt like these stories could have both been standing on their own. I feel like there was enough that happened and a lot of characters in both stories that they could have both been on their own as a separate book. So it could have been Riel's entire story. I don't know what's going to happen in the next ones, but Riel's entire story, and then you could have done a spin-off that would have been set in the same world as Furyborn, and then you would follow Eliana. I know that there is a few things that overlap, but because they will never actually meet, it is a fantasy book, so I guess never say never, but because they would never actually meet, I feel like it wouldn't necessarily need to be the same book. I can say that my favorite perspective in this was definitely Riel, and I know that Jem preferred Eliana. I understand why, but I liked Riel. It was a fun buddy read, and I did enjoy the book. Is it a book that I would read again? Probably not. Next up, we have Rosie Hopkins. What's the OG title? Welcome to Rosie Hopkins' Sweet Shop of Dreams. And I listened to this on audio, so will someone please explain to me how the hell I managed to slightly crack the spine when I haven't read this book. This is an adult contemporary following our lovely Rosie Hopkins, who is living her life in London to go take care of an aunt and help her sell her candy store in a little town called Lipton. But the more Rosie kind of just goes about her day in Lipton, she realizes that there might be more to life than just, you know, what she already had in London. I'm not gonna say more, but I would definitely recommend. This was so sweet and such a cozy read, and I freaking loved it. And the thing was, I listened to this in audio, and when I listen to audiobooks, it's because it's on my way to work and I drive with my mom, and my mom has already read this. So every time we would stop, she was like, okay, so how far are you? And then I'd be like, oh, this thing just happened, and she was like, so what do you think? I was like, I like it. And it was so fun because I was getting so frustrated. The thing is, well, in the beginning she has a boyfriend, but it's pretty obvious that he's not the one she's gonna end up with, because he's a dick, and if she were gonna end up with it, I would have thrown the book across the room. When she got to Lipton, there were 3 possible dudes that she could end up with, and I'm like, I don't even know which one of them. And I remember talking to my mom about it at the point where I was like, okay, I know who I prefer, but I'm not sure which one she's gonna end up with. And like 2 chapters later, I'm like, okay, that's for sure the guy that she's gonna end up with. I really, really liked it. It was so great and so wholesome, and I just loved it, and the humor in this is phenomenal. We also get some background information on the aunt from when she was older and why she has gotten to where she was and why she ended up with the candy store in the first place. It's just so great. I love it. Still on the 4 stars, and honestly a surprising one. Neverworld Awake by Marisha Pessel. I went into this expecting not to like it, to be completely honest. I had completely lost interest in it. So in this we follow a group of teenagers, I'm guessing. I don't remember how old they are, but they're meeting up at this house for somebody's birthday, if I remember correctly, and then something happens that makes them end up in what I would call like limbo. So where they're not dead, but they're not alive either. So they're reliving the same day over and over again, trying to figure out what to do. There is also this creepy dude that I would call like their spirit guide. Sorry, I just recently saw 17 again, that is why I'm calling it a spirit guide. Who then tells them that every day they have to vote, and the person that they vote for, it has to be unanimous. So the person that they vote for will then be the person who gets to live, and the rest of them will die. And I was just like, how could you even ask somebody to do that? And that was their thought as well. And then you just follow them for, I don't even remember how long. I really liked it. It was really, really nice. I was really surprised with this. I really liked all of the characters, each in their own way, even though some of them were annoying, but they were written in a way where you were like, I understand why you're annoying. I don't really have much more to say. I really, really enjoyed this book, and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. And now for my 5-star and my only book that I read physically. We have Caraball by Stephanie Garber. I am mad at myself for not reading this sooner. Was it everything I expected? Absolutely not. It was way better. I had expected circus vibes, like just plain circus vibes. This was not it, but it still had the circus vibes. So it is a circus or a carnival or whatever you call it. And it's just more than that, and then it's mysterious and murderish, and there's just so many things. There's so many layers, and I am shooketh. So we follow Scarlett and Tella, who lives on this island, I'm guessing, and they get a ticket to go to Caraball. Scarlett is she doesn't really want to go. Well, she wants to go, but she's scared of their father, who is an abusive asshole. Then something happens and they end up at Caraball, but they get separated. So Scarlett is trying to find Tella the entire time that she's there. And that is all I'm gonna say. And I recommend, and you need to pick it up ASAP. I am gonna continue this series soon. I need to, because it was phenomenal. It is so hot in here, and I need to stop filming now because I've been talking for about 30 minutes. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a comment telling me what you read in July, and did you have any 5 stars? If you just want to let me know that you're here but don't know what to comment, you can always leave a green heart. If you like this video, please hit the like icon, and if you want to see more of my bookish content, please consider hitting that subscribe button. It will mean the world to me. And until I see you next time, bye!